Hey, how's it going, everybody? For all of my followers and subscribers so far, thank you so much for following along. I'm just a guy from Maine who shares my lanterns and Coleman stoves, and I enjoy the hobby. I've met some great people online in the communities for Coleman, fellow collectors, and today I'm making a video about basically how to light a Coleman lantern, which there's lots of videos about, but I'm going to show you the way I light them. I'm going to give you some my opinions about mantles. This here is number 785, AmericanMantleCompany.com. It's equivalent of a Coleman 21A. This one here is a Coleman Silk-Light mantle, which they stopped making sometime in the 80s, that had the thorium in them, which was super favorite in the collectors. They're semi-radioactive, provides a better light. And this one here is for a North Star, which is in the video here in the back. We'll go through that one as well. So what I'm going to do to get started is I'm just going to go ahead and light up this 228F. I've gone ahead and pumped it up already. There's many different ways you can light a lantern. If you're not sure how, go ahead and watch YouTube, search some videos. But what I like to do, this is the way the old Aerolite lanterns worked. You know, if you didn't have an R55 generator or maybe a Q99, you just light a match to it and whatnot. And you can do the same thing with all of this kind of stuff. You can already see it's taken right off. All I had to do is just preheat the generator a little bit through the lighting hole. The instructions say quarter turn. Once you get that quarter turn and the mantles are burning bright, you open it up all the way. So we'll go ahead and do that. Once you've achieved this, I like to look, make sure nothing's leaking. You know, these lanterns can change hour by hour, day by day. They can spring a leak, so you have to know what to look for. Gotta be safe. Do your homework if you're gonna do stuff like this. I've been collecting a while and restoring lanterns a while, so I know what I'm doing. So feel free to ask questions, follow along. Maybe you can learn a few things from me as well. After I get it going, add some more pressure. So there we go. That's a 228F Coleman. And that one there is running the number 785 American Mantle Company mantles. I highly actually recommend these a lot. Even though these are brighter, they're not as durable. The American Mantle Company mantles are very durable. They'll make it to probably your whole camping season if you're careful with how you transport your lantern. Big fan of them. Sorry for the bad camera angles here. Okay, so next in line, this one here is a 1954 Coleman 200A. In the collector's world, they're referred to as a steel band. This here is basically made of steel. Coleman used different parts throughout the years, but this was a Korean War era, so they kind of cheaped out some parts, you know, according to what the government told them they had to use for metals, and that's why this was a steel collar. They used a high temperature paint on the cage to cover the steel, which I had to remove in order to get the rust off, so that's why it kind of looks galvanized. But that also has an American mantle. I just did some work on this guy, so what I'm going to do is actually replace the mantle because it needs it. So I'm going to show you how this works. Take your ball nut off. I put it down on the table. Then you need to remove your bail. Pull it apart. Plenty of videos online for this. But it's Sunday, and I'm hanging out here in Maine. Gotta go back to work tomorrow, so I figured I'd make a little video. I just started a YouTube channel here, so you'll have to excuse me for not the best cameras, not the best angles and videography, and I'm just doing this for fun, you guys. I don't really care who follows me and who doesn't, but if you do follow me, cool. Like, share, subscribe. I'll follow you back if you comment. I can see who you are. So this one here, I've decided, this is a 1954, so yeah, she's getting a silky. Yeah, buddy. So what you do is when you open the bag, you make sure you're not going to cut into the mantle, obviously, or the string. Just cut right across the top. Make sure you got it all the way open. This is the way I like to do it. There's many different ways. But what I like to do is take the two strings, okay, measure them, make sure they're equal length on each side, and if they're not, just give a little pull. Like you can see this one, yeah, they're actually pretty good. Give it a little pull, tighten it up, then make your first knot, just a crossover underneath like you're tying your shoes. Get that across, and then what you're going to see is that. But again, plenty of videos online for that. You want to learn that? Perhaps I'll make a better video someday. One other thing I'd like to mention about this steel band is another thing they did to save on metals is they had a ceramic burner cap, which this one has. And it even has the Coleman name inscribed on it. It's pretty cool. So once you get that around the mantle, the burner cap, once you get the mantle around the burner cap, give it a little snug. Then what I like to do is take the fabric, try not to touch the mantle as least as possible, but the goal is to get the fabric spread all the way around evenly, if you can. Once you achieve that, you want to make sure that the mantle is not touching the generator. So the generator is right here. You can see it's touching the mantle. So just give the mantle a little turn from the top. And then you can see that space between the mantle and generator. Now, once you've achieved that, go ahead and pull your first knot a little tighter, right? So I pulled it tight. Now I'm going to take and move it underneath and make a second knot. You can do a Boy Scout knot and do like a square knot or whatever. I just keep tying the same knot. It's always been fine. As long as you follow this process, I've found that you're never going to have a problem with tying the mantle on. The biggest thing with the mantle is the burn-in process. That's the critical part of your mantle. And you have to be careful with your mantles because if you spring a hole in it, that's what's going to break your glass globe. So the flame hits the mantle. If there's a hole in the mantle, it shoots out at so many hundreds of whatever degrees and puts a hot spot or a crack in your glass globe, which the globe sometimes can be worth more than the lantern itself these days, but that's another video. So once you get that tied on, you're going to want to go ahead and clip your extra string length to about 1/4 of an inch or so, because those will curl and make a hole in your mantle as well. Then what you have to do is burn your mantle in. So I'm going to take my Coleman lighter. I'm going to start underneath. You can do this with a match as well. I find that that can be a little difficult with a little wind, especially if you're out camping. So I just use a lighter. I used to use a torch for this, but the torch will actually scorch it maybe a little too much. So I find that really a lighter is perfect for this. And then once you get it going, take your globe, cover it up. Don't breathe those fumes in. The fumes from that, or from the thorium in the mantle, can be cancerous, so don't breathe it in. And after it's ashed off and you're removing it as well, don't breathe that in either. You know, maybe walk away and come back 5 minutes later and then light your lantern. I believe this lantern's already pumped up. I'm going to give it a few more pumps. Yep, she's good to go. So like I said, you can take your globe off and take your vent off and preheat your generator with a torch or a match, like I just did on the 228F before this one. But the problem is these 200As, the lighting hole is not large enough to accommodate the diameter of this barbecue lighter. So, one trick I've learned is that that's not really a big deal. Because Coleman fuel is so combustible, there's a lot of legroom here. You just have to know how to ignite it. So I'm going to show you that. So first of all, you have to make sure that your cleaning needle is pointed down. So I'm going to rotate that just a few times, make sure the gas tip of my generator is clear. Point your cleaning lever down. I'm going to bring you guys over here so you can see this. Okay. There we go. Alright, so here is my lighter hole. So what I'm going to do is light it right like that. I don't know if you can see that. So I just got my lighter right up through there. Okay. So you always want to introduce gas to the flame, not flame to the gas. So you light your flame first. Okay. But before I even do all of that, I turn my gas valve on just a quarter of a turn till I hear that psst. Then I turn it back off. Now I've got some fuel in my generator. Okay. So I'm just going to stick my lighter in there. Now I'm going to turn the valve back on a quarter turn. She'll light. Just leave it quarter turn. Okay. Taking my cleaning lever and just giving it a couple turns in case there's anything sludged up in there. Okay. Now I'm good. This is good. So go ahead and open this up all the way at this point. If it starts fireballing, we'll stop turning it on and turn it back off.